I watched this movie called Winter in Sokcho pretty recently, and I wrote a review which is on my laptop here. And I'm gonna take its help to sort of reflect more about the movie. I don't want to be too spontaneous. I feel like I can screw things when I'm too spontaneous, or so I lose the quality of my words that I use when I write things, and with the emotions that I write when I have just finished the movie. So here's the review. Now, let's start with a very simple, suggestive, and friendly opinion on who might like the movie. The movie Winter in Sokcho is absolutely layered, although it's an absurd thing to say considering the fact that every movie is pretty layered. Movies are usually like an onion as big as the size of planet Earth, which you can peel as much as you want. But to rescue you from the most broad and macroscopic point of view, it can appeal to four types of people. First, a lonely, isolated man still in search of meaning, lost and exploring constantly. Someone is in an existential crisis or going through an existential dread. Second, someone who is going through a body dysmorphia as a constant state of mind. Third, people tied to the feelings of abandonment, especially parental abandonment, trying to find the recluse in their lovers. People often try to project that sense of loss from their parents and try to get that loss feeling from their partners. That often impacts their relationship as well. I have seen that in my personal life around me as well. Now, and lastly, if there has been a person who has been in this unfortunate position where they were supposed to decline love. Now, being rejected in love is a common occurrence, and all of us are subject to that. But being in a position where you need to decline love and choose isolation, that's a very tough choice to make, and rarely that happens. So those people. Now, before I jump into my elaborate trail of thoughts since I finished the movie, I would request you to pause the video, watch the movie, and then come back. I might not give you that usually big summary with the starting and ending. I suppose you have watched the movie and we can delve deeper into the themes of the movie. Now, the movie is about this young girl living in the coastal city of South Korea, engulfed in her routine and the coldness of the city. Some might call her an unambitious person, although I would like to think of her as someone constantly in turmoil with her identity and a person stagnated due to unresolved emotional conflicts. See, people born in the proximity of borders, and Sokcho is a city almost at the border of North Korea. These people are always at the risk of falling onto the wrong side. Distance of few hundred kilometers can put you in an entirely strange demographic, far from freedom of thought and action. A politically induced DMZ separates possibility, opportunities, and potential transformation in a young man's or a woman's life. So, yes, I feel a sense of relief for her since she fell right at the borderlines, still under the umbrella of a slightly safer political regime. So, better fall under capitalism than communism, I guess. And I don't have a lot of insights into the governing system of North Korea, although I did look from research purposes into how things are being done or governed there, and it seems like a fairly restrictive process. Do you think that freedom makes things easier, or is it always, or there are negatives to it? Is the restriction of choices sometimes can be a good indicator, considering the fact that the availability of choices makes people more anxious and confused at times? So, is there a possibility that people in North Korea might be slightly happier than someone in the place that you are living in? Is there a possibility? I'm just questioning it. Okay. No, I lost the track. I hope I do. Never mind. So yes, this girl welcomes a foreign visitor into the hotel she works at. At first on request and later by choice, she chooses to spend time with this visitor, which in turn leads to hope, shock, rejection, acceptance, and healing. This is the story. That's the best I can give you. Now, I did not spoil much, right? Let us unravel the prominent themes, and we should start with the ones that I found most relatable. Canard, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but it's a French name, right? A key supporting character in the movie presents two possibilities. First, that he never felt any sense of romantic love for Suha, and it was mainly a platonic affection. Secondly, it could be the need for isolation. He might have had that sense of romantic interest, but he his craving for isolation might have made him act in a particular way. My personal experience with isolation tells me it either originates from a place of incompetence of sustaining a relationship due to self centeredness, if that's the word to be used, or self awareness, to be very precise, or from repetitive ruptures or failures in relationship that scar you enough to never try again. You fear getting into a relationship because you fear that pain of disembarkment and disassociation. Considering Kennard is a writer who is accustomed to writing about himself more than about the things around him, as evident by his dialogue. So, if you see this particular scene from one of the interviews that Suha is watching, he says, she points out, the interviewer, that even though he travels a lot and he says or he tries to make other people believe that he is interested in the stories that goes into those cities, he often writes about himself. So that basically signals that he is still not he is also going through certain unresolved conflicts and is still not over them to look beyond himself. And at times in the movie, we feel his effort to push Suha at a distance, thus reinforcing this point and my claim about the movie being a lesson in the art of declining love. In life, I have learned that sometimes giving up love is the right choice rather than forcing it by acceptance. Weirdly enough, I did fall for the character during and after I watched the movie. There were moments when I just wanted to look into her eyes and tell her that how beautiful she is. But that's common sentiment that happens as viewers. We tend to project our emotions through the character. In my case, it could have been the need to love more than to be loved. Now, the second theme, and we are going to look at this from Suha's side. Her projection of fatherly love is slightly easier to understand. French dad, feelings of abandonment, curiosity about the absence of fatherly figure, and then the entrance of this handsome man with the typical rudeness of a stern father and that occasional politeness. She was bound to fall in love. And the passing feeling of attraction that lasted did some good. It helped unearth some hidden emotions, recreated that sense of rejection, and conquering our hidden pains is an amazing way to get over our unearthed traumas that we might have faced, something that we are not even aware of. Now, one of my favorite scenes from the movie, and now we are talking about the body dysmorphia part, is when towards the end of the movie she is smiling in a red shirt, looking all bright and happy. But in a way, I was disappointed in that scene when I saw her without her glasses. I felt like she fell prey to the society, to her boyfriend's subtle suggestion about getting herself, changed in some way, or maybe her aunt's direct opinion about her not looking as good as probably other people in the country or the city, like the way they do. But then I was relieved as soon as she put her blue glasses. I was relieved that her beauty stayed unchanged, and with that added dignity on her face, it magnified. Although I've always wondered, and again a question for you guys, and this happens mostly in South Asian countries maybe. Why are people inclined towards beauty standards that require surgical intervention? Is it common occurrence in countries that are financially well off? Is it a reflection of capitalism? That what science sells? Considering the profound impact of American psychology on South Korea, could this be the reason? I do not see this happening in my country. Maybe we are too poor to afford that. Maybe we do not care. maybe we will care someday. I guess that would be all for now. And it might not be your usual review. It's a very short review. I just touched three different themes and looked at the psychological side of certain things. But it would be great to know